Boom.
What
We
up?
live.
We're
What's up, man?
live. Every time I hit the going live button, you're like, are we going live? It's like, well, yeah, that's what we're here to do, Matt. The people are here to see
I
us
love
be
it, man.
positive, spread
Mhm.
positive to the world. And that's kind of
Absolutely.
the goal behind the show. What we talked about when we started to do this was planting seeds of
Hmm.
positivity. And as we move forward, as the days go on, the seeds blossom and turn into a harvest in our lives of good things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what it's about. It's really about planting those seeds, and just maintaining that level of positivity. I truly think it's a choice every day. It's an active choice to make sure that you choose happiness. That's one of our family core values is we choose to be happy. Choose to be happy every day because sometimes it's tough, man. Today I'm struggling too. So it's a choice to be happy every day, to treat each other fairly every day, and that's what I'm all about, man. Even this weekend, right? We get a couple comments on our site, and you got to choose joy. You got to choose happiness. You got to choose to be the bigger human being in every single scenario. I'm not looking to get in any sort of debate of who's right, who's wrong. Everyone. It's kind of our topic today, right? Not what to think, but how to think, right? Um, when through the course of going grade school all the way through our educational system, they always teach you what to think, right? A lot of times, parents, they teach you what to think. You need to think this. You need to think a certain way. And I think that's one thing that I was even masterminding with my dad this morning. My dad and I are getting up on Mondays now at 5:30. I just brought it to him. I'm like, hey, you want to get up, man? Start digging into some stuff. Start abiding together and see what we can come up with. I just love asking questions to specifically people that have been instrumental in my life. My dad has been. My dad's been really active through action. Very little talk. I think my dad would even tell you. I'm not downing him for this, but like he's not. He wouldn't be like somebody that's gonna. What up, Pete? Thanks for listening in, brother. I appreciate it, man. My dad isn't just one of those guys that's gonna be like. A motivational speaker getting up in front of people, a keynote speaker. But I'll tell you what, he's going to be a man of action. He's going to be a man that's going to make a conscious choice. And he's an action taker. He's an action taker. So that's what I love about my dad. And but I do like asking him questions, right? I think he's just an amazing man that I can get a lot out of. That has had many years of experiences, both failures, because we only can learn from failures, and grow from that. But one thing my parents have really established in me, and I think really my three other brothers and sisters, what I've seen in our life is they've just raised us up on how to think instead of what to think. They've definitely influenced us in ways and left us a lineage of really cool stuff that I look back on. I was looking back on the other day on oh man, we subscribed today. A lot came out, dude. We got to put that back up there. I want you guys to subscribe to my show. I want you guys
Yeah, there you
subscribe to
go.
my show. I gotta get up there. It popped out, man. I need you guys to subscribe, like my page, please. But yeah, no, I think it's just important. It's an important um, thing to really look on, right? To see, hey, just evaluate in your life of, how am I thinking? What are my thoughts, right? Is it because somebody taught me this? And is it correct? I always go back to the reticular activating system. I even had a discussion with it today. Had a really awesome conversation with a guy from Australia. We're going to be developing, cultivating a relationship over time. I know it. He's just an amazing guy. And that's the beauty about technology on how you can actually tap into some of those resources and speak, at 8 a.m. It's 9:30 his time. You can speak to somebody across the world. But it's really just how to think, versus like, okay, was that something I was taught and I just now believe in, or am I really a deep thinker? And I can really just give kudos to my wife on this, because I think she's established in many ways a sense of, hey, is that the correct way to think, right? Is that the right, like, is that right or wrong? Like, it might not be right or wrong, but is that what you think is true? Is that your reality? So I learned this from Sarah Blakely. She actually said, over the course of her education, that it was just it was kind of preconditioned or predisposed in her mind of what, like, I was always taught what to think, not how to think. And I think from an entrepreneur, as you're an entrepreneur, it's, you have to establish that. You have to establish things of like what to think. I consult for a company, it's a nonprofit, and I'm really kind of, and to that, the CEO of that organization, I'm really trying to put in her life, hey, you have to like come up with the vision yourself. Like, you have to think of these things. Like, you can collect the data, right? And people can tell you what to think all day and how to perform and what you need to do. But ultimately, you have to come to the reality that you need to create that vision. And it's you thinking on how to think. Like, I have to formulate my responses and my vision so that I can articulate that to somebody else. Now, there are people out there that just want to know, like, give me what I need to think about. Like, give me that that information. I just need to download that information, and then I can perform, right? I want to be the robot. Some people are the robot, it might be those accountants. It might be those, I was that guy, right? Just tell me the numbers, then I look at them. I think what was a little bit about me is the 9 to 5 just didn't work out for me. My wife and I were talking, what is that thing in an entrepreneur that like is that X factor that, kind of separates people that want to be an entrepreneur. And maybe it's a little bit of ADD. She's like, oh, it might be ADD because I'm definitely, you can call me ADD. I'm ADHD. I'm hyperactive. But I look to maintain that too, right? With positive attributes. I think my wife could to really attest to that. I really try to focus on that. I try to focus on the good in people. That's one thing I think I learned from my father, is that he just has an inherent love for people. And that's, I just try to embody that day after day. So does my mom. I come from school teachers, which in their own right are entrepreneurs. So shout out to all the school teachers out there that definitely are going through this hard time. Because if you have kids and trying to teach other kids through Zoom, I'm sure it's a feat. But just, not what to think, but how to think. So I didn't want to, go in too long. This is one of our shorter podcasts. I want to do 10 with Tack, give you a little power punch of the day and some maybe extra motivation. But don't just take what people tell you as truth, right? You got to learn how to think and conceptualize that what is truth and what's not truth. And it's for the common good of man. I would think that, it's probably, it's probably going in the right direction, right? I wouldn't go the reverse direction of what we encountered today on my page. I'm definitely a man of faith, and I know everyone out there is not that, but I had some Satanists attacking me, and it was quite the entertainment. It was kind of crazy, but all love for him too. All love for him, and or him or her. I don't know if it was a him or her, but we were just engaged in a conversation, really good conversation. But albeit I've come to a point in my life where I want to learn how to think. I don't want to just take it as where I am only. I gotta fix it again. Come on, you guys gotta subscribe to my page. We can put that in there. It stayed up there the entire time last time. I don't know why I was doing that today. But guys, I just want to come to you live today just to give you an encouragement. And that encouragement is really, ultimately is start learning, turning that brain, turning those, the cycles in your brain, those pistons, getting them moving with action of don't take all that information and take it as truth. Because, a lot of times if you're surrounding yourself with the right people, it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people. Had it come out of a mastermind actually this morning with an individual, just met him. And we were talking about that. It was a really cool thing where, the people that are influence you have to be extremely protective of. You got to be extremely protective of your time. And that's going to engage your conversation of how you're formulating some of your thoughts. and what you're absorbing and how you're going to articulate that to somebody else in your team and how you motivate. I've developed a lot of time over the past couple of years and just investing in leadership capabilities. I think that leadership is the crux, is the hinge of the movement, right? Of where I think I can develop and cultivate my team and our relationships that we have within the team to really motivate and respond, and not all the time motivate. Sometimes it's like you got to lead, right? I think at this time it's very hard to motivate, but you got to lead through a crisis. How do you make those pivots? How do you make those changes to be everyone on board? Rising tides lifts all boat, that type of mentality. So I just wanted to come to you today, encourage you, and drop that line in here, not what to think, but how to think. I think, my mom, and I talk a lot about my parents because they're such instrumental roles in my life. But my mom came to me, and my mom's like, Matt, you gotta quit cussing. You can't cuss on your show. And I'm like, dude, Mom, like cussing on my show, like I do it that often? And I quite honestly, the way I think, and this is like, formulating my response of who I am, right? I don't want somebody to come into my house and be like, oh, like now I'm finding out who you were, right? I cuss a little bit. I'll tell you that flat out. So if you got a problem with that, you probably should unsubscribe, but don't unsubscribe. I got a lot of goodness, but I'm not throwing out 4-letter words all over the place. So I apologize if I offended you. And I apologize if I offend you in the future, but I can't sit here and say that that ultimately that's me. I'm going to be me. I was listening to Sean Whalen this past weekend. Just he was dropping dimes, and it's all about finding your purpose, finding your way, establishing your why. Listen to a little bit of Gary Vee too with Ed Milet. Pat, make sure to tag them in this, but I just want to promote them because it's so, the mindset is amazing, right? Gary Vee was even saying that, he's the type of dude, if World War III broke out, he would not be on the front line of defense. He's like, the reason why I would just be scared, so scared to go on the front line of defense. And he told Ed Milet, he's like, dude, I've never been this vulnerable at a podcast. But the reason why is because I have so much love for life. And how can you get that love for life, right? I have that love for life, and it's and once again, it's not going to come from temporary things. It's not going to come from money. Money can be the byproduct. It can be the result, but it can never be the cause. So I just encourage you to establish that why, right? And be vulnerable to self and start beginning of how to think. Probably a lot easier said than done, but don't let people just always tell you what to think. Formulate your version of what success, what your version of your why is going to be, and begin how to think. Establish that. Begin how to think. Be proactive thinkers. So that's all I got for today. I Reap the Harvest. Just want to go live, send you a little bit of encouragement. Subscribe, please. It's me and my little girl. Subscribe to me. Comment. Give us some feedback. We love it. No matter the feedback, it can be crazy feedback. It can be good feedback. It can be bad. We'll learn from it and grow from it. But here, this is Reap the Harvest. And brother, I appreciate you, Pat. Not what to think, but how to think. We out.
It's a beautiful
Peace, everyone.
thing. We'll see you guys next time.